Welcome to our conversation powered by the Los Angeles Film School. My name is Marley Rodriguez, and I'm the Associate Program Director of our On-Ground Film Program and co-founder of Cinemanas, and I will be your moderator this afternoon. How's everyone doing? What programs are you in? Please let us know in the chat so you can feel free to use those. Shout out to our guests watching on YouTube as well as on Zoom. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions throughout the event, please put them in the chats and we will try to get to them at the end. I'll be checking the chat periodically as well to see what the audience has to say. And without further ado, let's meet our creative guest speaker today, Giselle Dias, a graduate in film from the Los Angeles Film School, and she's an advocate for women's rights and the LGBTQ community. She specializes in fashion, beauty, fine art, photography, and loves curating visual content with her contemporary and poppy aesthetic. Dias has worked on campaigns, music videos, fashion films, editorials, and magazine covers. In 2016, she started Undragged, where she shot photographs of drag queens inside bathrooms to portray the vulnerability of each human. And she rebranded and photographed for one of the largest and most influential media companies in the United States, Alternative Press, with artists on the cover like 5 Seconds of Summer and Adore Delano. Giselle has also shot backstage at Fashion Week for Blue Marine, Francesca Liberatore, Iceberg, the Attico, and she's worked for brands like Jeffree Star Cosmetics, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Miu Miu, and Prada. In 2020, she launched her latest product, Amor Não Se Compra, where she transformed abandoned animals into glamorous stars, posing with Brazilian celebrities like Erica Januza, Vitória Estrada, and João Vicente de Castro to increase the visibility on pet adoption in Brazil. Everyone, please help me welcome LAFS alumna, Giselle Dias. Before we jump in, yes, we like to get good energy flowing. We're going to kick it off with a vibe check. Are you ready, Giselle?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. If you had to cast a character to star in your life story, which character would you choose and why?
I think it would probably be someone from the movie The Devil Wears Prada, I think. That's one of my favorites. I don't know, probably Miranda or Anne Hathaway.
And why? What about them and their character?
Um, I just love fashion, and I feel like that was my photographer.
You got a little stuck there, Giselle, so I'm just repeating something you said. You said it was because of the love of fashion.
Yeah, sorry. It's because of the love of fashion, and that movie really represents how the fashion industry works. So I feel like it's really sums up my life, but as a photographer.
Cool, cool. And if you had to choose, which album or song would be the vibe of your life?
That's harder. I don't know, just one song. I like poppy songs and fun songs and happy songs. So I feel like definitely something upbeat. Anything upbeat would be it.
Okay.
That's
great.
really what I put in the studio when I'm shooting someone. I just do like fun music so people can just like let loose and have fun with it.
Great, great. And your photographs really show that. So that's really
Thank
cool.
you.
Now let's finish these sentences. I represent blank.
I represent anyone that's different, that thinks differently, likes to think out of the box and, you know, say no to the establishment, I guess.
I love that. I'm changing the world by blank.
I'm changing the world by showing stories with my art.
Love it. So let's talk a little bit about your overview and background for those who aren't as familiar and who want to get to know you. You've had such different roles over the course of your career. How would you describe to everyone what you do today?
Well, today, I'm a photographer. I've always been a photographer, no matter what I've done. That's my base. And I grew into also doing art direction, creative direction. So right now, I basically coordinate everything aesthetic. That's basically my job, to think of no concept, may that be for a product, for an artist, for a brand. Like we have a campaign or we have an artist wanting to be like a more fashionable celebrity. Like I set it up with a team. I bring in all the people that are suitable for that project because different projects have different makeup artists and stylists. So you basically just set a team for that person or that brand that you think suits them. And then you create the whole idea and the whole production of it. So that's basically what I do. I curate projects and images.
Great. And how did you get started in that?
Well, like you said, I did do a lot because I've always been curious, and I feel like as a creative director, which is what I mainly love to do, you gotta have all the different references you can have. Like I work with video, I work with concerts, I work with anything that can have an aesthetic attached to it. Like I work with Instagram, I work with the website and how the website's gonna look with that campaign. So I feel like the more I've gotten into, the more I had base to do that. So I've been a lighting designer. I've worked on The Voice as a lighting designer. I've done concerts, lighting. I started in concert photography. That was my start off photography until I went to studio, which is what I love to do nowadays. I like being more of a controlled scenario. And I feel like everything I've done and studied brought me to this point where I can, because that's the thing, like I used to just be a video today. It's like I don't have a single client that comes to me only always photos and video. With social media, it walks so much together. So you gotta have the arsenal. Like during the pandemic, I wasn't able for the longest time to have a big crew. So I feel like the more you know, the more you're able to get by, like without, sometimes having the tools or someone to help. So
That's
I
so
feel like that's
important.
pretty much it. Yeah, it's very important. So that's why I went to film school, because you can't not have videos nowadays. Every client wants photos and videos.
Well, so yeah, that brings me to like, how did your film school experience lead you down this career path? Did you feel like, was it getting that experience in every position, or what about it kind of helped you transition?
It got me ready to take the responsibility of producing the project as a whole. Like nowadays, I have my company. So, like I said, like I'm the one that hires everyone. And I don't remember exactly how it works in America, but in Brazil, like as I'm the one producing, I have to advance a lot of the payments and I have to control that and do like the taxes. So I feel like that whole like bureaucracy part of production and having the responsibility to do that as well. It's what the film taught video part, because like I used to work with video before. That's something that I've learned also from work, but school taught me again the bureaucracy of working with a team and being formal and how to work in like it's the place where you get to make mistakes. It feels like a work business. Like you're basically playing theater in school, but you get to make mistakes. And then you leave there and you're prepared for the real world. So I feel like college teaches you, it's not just about the practical part of it, because I feel like the practical you get better by just doing it and doing it over again. I remember after you got it, did it bug or can you hear me?
You got stuck there for a second. So you were talking about kind of, you left
Hello?
off. Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, all good, all good.
Internet in
We kind of left
Brazil.
off. Yeah, we left off kind of where you were talking about how film school was really a place to play around, to make mistakes, to fail,
Yeah.
more than the practical experience, like and then
Yeah, because the
practice.
practical you learn it, but as the more you do, the better you get at it. But school is a safe place where it teaches you how to act in a workplace. So I feel like that's so important. You know, and it was also for me an extra difference because I learned how to do it in America. And then I brought that back here to my country. So that for me was a great added bonus as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. Absolutely. I love making sure that we can share stories and perspectives from all cultures. I think it's so important. Um, so let's transition a little bit into visual storytelling. What
Okay.
does visual storytelling mean to you?
Um, it means to me that it's about telling a story by just looking at a picture. And that for me is like, because when you're working with fashion, we don't have like linear narratives, but we do have emotions. And that for me is very important in choosing a picture because sometimes like the model might look good, but she's not expressing anything to me. And that's also something that I need when I pick the photos because sometimes I want a direction of expressions. I don't want her to look too sexy, so I might not choose the extra sexy photos no matter how good they look. So I feel like it's about understanding what do you want to tell with that photo, you know? Because like I have clients that hate sexy pictures. They like softness. I have clients that want to sell sexy lingerie. That's what you want to sell, you know? So that's what I think about telling the story. And use that in so many senses, like when you're picking colors, when you're picking the mood that you're telling your model to give you, and when you're taking that out in the photos later, doing the selecting. So I feel like that's a really big part of it. It's understanding what do you want to say.
Absolutely. There's a well-known cinematographer, Roger Deakins, who always talks about some of the greats that he's inspired by in terms of visual storytelling. And similar to kind of what you said, he talks about there's good cinematography, there's bad cinematography, and there's cinematography that's right for the film. And I feel like you're kind of saying something
Yeah.
similar where there's good there's like what looks good, but then there's also just what feels right, what the emotion is telling, what's powerful. And I think that's such a great point. Can you walk
Yeah,
us through how you develop a concept for a new project or a campaign?
of course. And I just want to make an add-on to that as well, prior that I tend to always reference my models to poses when you're opening yourself up, you have your chin up. I feel like it's so important to empower. So I feel like if you look at my work, you will see that even the poses, it's empowering poses. Like when you close yourself off, like you're showing another feeling. So just something I wanted to add to that. But sorry. So when I'm doing a project, the first thing I do is understand what the client wants to say, because a lot of times in the meeting they will tell you what they want, but they won't actually tell you what they want to say. They think it, but they don't even know it exactly. So I feel like that's the first step of figuring out between what was talked and what they actually want out of the project, but then you're the one that's going to figure out and be able to give it to them, that concept. So that's the brainstorming first off. Sometimes it comes to you right away. Sometimes, I don't know, I just wake up with an idea. I feel like that's the biggest problem we have with creativity is that we have deadlines with it, and it's not a thing you really put a deadline on. But I feel like you just, if you train yourself enough, you just get to a point where you're faster to get to it. But because you already, I save a lot of references too. So I have some stuff that I go to and go like, huh, maybe this, and then you get to something. So it's a lot of brainstorming in the beginning. So after I'm setting an idea, I create a mood board, talk to the client, sell them on my idea. If they like it, which won't lie 95% of the time, it just, you get into pre-production. And if they gotta adjust something, you adjust the mood board until the client's happy. And then after pre-production, you do the photos, post-production, and it's out. Yeah, so that's basically like the process of it.
Thank you. That's
A
great
lot
to
of meetings in between, a lot of talking. Clients love that you babysit them, and a lot of the clients love talking for hours. Like it's funny. I don't know if that happens a lot there, but here in Brazil, like they want to chat so much. So it's a lot of that as well. Like that's the thing. Like when you're a creative director, you gotta account for that hours of work as well, because a
Mm.
lot of people don't think that. It's not just the day I'm shooting. It's like I normally have a month of pre-production of like the client calling me and being like, but do you think the couch should really be red? And then like you're talking about for 45 minutes on a couch. So like you gotta remind yourself, like you gotta make a base when you're charging of like how much.
You got stuck again, Giselle, but I think we were able
Yes,
to get in.
sorry.
All good, all good. You were saying that you kind of really factor in all of the time that it takes to prep when you're charging, which I think is a really great piece of advice, because it's not just the day of.
Yeah, totally. It's not just the day off, especially if you're doing pre-production and the creative, because doing a lot of meetings, a lot of WhatsApping. So I think it's very important. Yeah.
And we have some really good questions in the chat. If you can, okay, we're back here. I think,
Yeah, I saw them.
yeah, Isabella Dominguez has a question. What makes a picture worthy of being chosen as the final image to be used? I think that's a really good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, everything needs to look good. The pose needs to be good. The model needs to look good. The expression must be the story you want to tell. The clothes or the product you're selling definitely must look good. That's like number one. But I'm a perfectionist, so I like photos that everything looks good. So times I might do like a Frankenstein. I might grab like a hand from another photo and like throw it in there to make it look better. Sometimes you gotta adjust a few things to get there. So you match that. So but I feel like everything has to be good, and definitely the product. And normally campaigns are with celebrities. Even the models, they're normally famous. So I feel like they also have to look good. So again, with the everything gotta look good. That's what I think makes the number one photo. I rather choose less photos than more photos that don't look as good.
Great. And another great question in the chat. What do you have in your mood board? What does it consist of? What do you usually show the client, if you're willing to share?
Yeah, of course. I normally do a few mood boards actually. Uh, the project, depending on the project. Because some extense projects, like a mood board would be a more, after the client has approved, it's a more detailed mood board of the makeup, hair, the styling, the set, the lighting. Like that's when I really detail everything. That's how it's gonna look like. Because now we have the general idea approved, so we can go forward if I'm sets, because then you have the 3D rendering of the set and some more things that come on later on. So I just keep the mood board to be the more detailed as you can. So that way, when you're on the day, you have like a beautiful, like perfect mood board, you know? But it's also good to not, depending on what it is, because sometimes the mood board is a guide. Like I just did a project that it didn't have a motto, it was just a product. So my mood board was exactly what it came out, because we did a 3D rendering of the whole thing. So like the photo was basically the same thing as the 3D photo. So we had to match that. But when you're doing like a mood for like a fashion shoot or something that's more conceptual, my big advice is do not get caught up on specifics. Like understand the mood and dive into that in your own way.
That's great. That's great. So detailed, with film, it's the same thing. It's planning and having a really, really like set plan. But then when you get to the day, being able, depending on the project, being flexible to say,
Yeah.
oh, I want to go this direction because this is what's naturally happening. Or some projects you really do have to kind of create what was set in prep.
Yeah,
Which goes
because some
best.
clients are that specific, you know, but especially with publicity. I feel like with art, with film, with fashion, it's not as much. But with publicity, they're very, but it's okay because they have the money and the time to do it. So you're under the best conditions to be able to get requested that. And sometimes you gotta have a little work around with the client and be like, maybe let's do it like this, you know. I feel like it's all about understanding and trying to talk it out. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think was the most impactful project that you've worked on?
It's hard to say. Impactful in what way? I mean, to me emotionally, or
Yeah. Yeah. Or your favorite?
yeah. So yeah, because I just did this campaign that for me was really special. Because we was my first international campaign. It was a national jewelry campaign, and it was in the Philippines. So for me, it was pretty exciting to be the first time that a brand is paying me to get out of the country, go to another country that's beautiful. Like I always wanted to do that, to like go shooting Dubai, or like, you know, I used to see those campaigns and be like, oh, I love that people go to this amazing, beautiful places and do beautiful campaigns there. So that for me was like an accomplishment, you know, to see my photos on of this campaign on billboards and like on stores. That whole campaign for me just like marked so many things, you know, seeing the catalog. I'm old school. I love print. So that campaign really hit like a lot of check marks for
That's so, I
me.
mean, it's so cool. That's so cool to like be able to have that physical print and to see it up there on, I mean, that's a dream
Yeah.
for so many people.
Yeah, exactly. Like I still really dream about that. And I still do. Like I still dream about having that billboard of Kylie's on LA, the one on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, yeah, next to the film school even.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So that's gonna happen someday. I put it out in the universe. It's good.
Absolutely, manifest.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you were talking about working with clients and how with publicity it's a little bit more rigid. Have you ever had experience pitching to a client or pitching an idea to a group of executives or other team members who are not understanding your like specific cultural perspective? And if you have, how did you handle that?
Luckily, I was born with a whole, I'm the only artist on my family. Everyone in my family works in finance and business, and my dad was a businessman. So I kind of grew up having to be accustomed of learning how to speak their language. So that I feel like it's really helped me, because we artists sometimes go deep into the conceptual when we're explaining an idea, and executives they don't care about color the set's gonna look like. They really don't. They either trust you to handle their vision or not. And that's really what it is about. They care about budget, on budget. How much is it gonna cost me? And is it gonna be worth it? Why is this gonna make me money? Why is this campaign, me spending money with you, is gonna be worth for my brand? So I feel like those are the topics that you normally should address when you're speaking to an executive. Like they don't actually care what the idea is. They don't even understand normally what the idea is. You just have to explain to them why this idea is gonna make them money. Why is that gonna work for their brand? I feel like that's more what it is.
That's really great advice, really great advice. And how do you think the current trends influence your work?
It's very important. Again, as a creative director, I feel like it's the more you get in, the best. And you have to be current. You have to know what's going on, who's doing what, which designers, or in my case, since I work in fashion, which designers are currently working which brands. And it's important to know who's are the celebrities like that are currently hot at the moment, they're trending. I feel like the whole thing is just important. You can't get old. You can't, you have to keep up with the times.
Definitely. So like staying up to date with what's going on in
Yeah,
the world,
definitely.
even.
Yeah, like I'm not a TikTok person, but I know what's going on TikTok. I know it exists. I know who the TikTokers are. That's what I mean. Like I'm not watching them. I don't even have time to, but I know it exists, because that's the thing. Like when you're talking to people, and then you're talking to a brand, and you're gonna be like, oh, we need a TikToker. And then you're like, I know 5 talkers that would fit your brand. Like anything that you get a conversation going, knowledge in, I feel like it's important.
Absolutely. And someone in the chat actually asked if TikTok play any part in your projects. Let's see.
Sorry, it cut.
It's okay, no worries. I think you're back now. We'll just give it a minute every time it cuts out. So yeah, someone in the chat had asked if TikTok played a part in any of your projects, kind of at the same time that you were talking about TikTok.
Oh, no, he didn't. No. Well, I do shoot TikToks for some artists sometimes, like videos and stuff, but not really.
What do you think your biggest challenge or biggest creative challenge has been, and how did you overcome that?
For me, I think it's timing. That's the thing I talked about before. I hate having to create on a deadline, but you have to overcome it because that's how it works, And I think a way to help you with that is create a database, of ideas. Keep having ideas constantly and saving them. Because then when you're talking to a client, like they're gonna mention something that might connect you. You're gonna be like, oh, I remember that I thought about doing something like this a while back, you know? So, and saving ideas as well, like not killing ideas just for the sake of it. Like if you think that you should save an idea, because at some point, like I do that all the time. Like sometimes I'll have an idea and I go like, oh, I'm gonna hold on to this because I know like this client's gonna show up at some point and this is gonna fit them perfectly, you know? So, and it's about convincing people as well, persuading people. Like I call clients that I work with all the time and give them ideas out of the blue. I just go like, you know what you should do? I feel like this would be really good for you. Like create work for yourself, you know?
I love that.
Um,
Yeah. It's
yeah, I
almost
think
pitching
that's
yourself.
important. Yeah, and that's the thing, like in our job, like for example, we just had a carnival in Brazil. Carnival is a big work time for us because
Mm.
all the artists are getting paid to be at the event. So like you go, you talk to people, all the brand people are there. So people remember you, and then like you already like give little snippets, like it's what you guys even teach, like the 30-second elevator pitch, you know? Like you gotta have those ready, you know?
And
And just
it
like
seems like you're just pitching out. Are you afraid of rejection? It doesn't, and how do you conquer that?
I am not afraid of rejection. Like I know is just a why, in my opinion.
So I'm sorry, you cut out there a
I
little bit.
rather do it. Oh, sorry. I said a no for me is just why. Why no? You know, like, and it's okay if you get a no. At some point you get a yes. Like it doesn't hurt to try, you know, like I had moments that did not work for me and I had moments that it worked great. So better do it than not do it. I feel like that's so important. Like I just throw myself at it. You know, like I'll give you an example. There's this actress I just shot, and she's one of the biggest actresses in Brazil currently, and I really wanted to shoot her. And she's doing a TV series with an actress that I work with. And this actress asked me to go do a photo of her at the movie set for her look, because they're going to do a press conference on the movie and she's wearing like a Valentino look, blah, blah, blah. And she wanted like to have the look. This is not like I do campaigns. This is just like like a photo for Instagram. But of course, I'm not gonna say no because I knew the other actress was gonna be there. She was not gonna have a photographer, and she was gonna want me to shoot her. And that's exactly what happened when I got there, you know. So I shot them both, and then now we're in contact, and then now I have her number, and now we're talking, and it might lead to more work with her. So I feel like it's like you create your opportunity and you don't lose opportunities when you knock on your door. Like when someone asks me, have you worked with the software? Yeah. And then I learn it at night, you know? It's like I never lose an opportunity. Like I'll figure it out.
I love that. That's so good. Yeah. My sister and I always, we work together and we always say, just take the door that opens
Yeah.
and go through it. Because when you have a little bit of an opening, just try your best.
Yeah, exactly.
So you talked about like learning software the night of. What tools or resources or software to help you in your work, whether it's creating, inspiration, brainstorming, or actually in the prep?
Brainstorming wise for me is Instagram and Pinterest. That's where I save a lot of stuff. Use a lot of Canvas as well, Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, Premiere, basically all the basics. Capture One. But that's the thing, like for example, I haven't used Final Cut in forever. And the other day, my editor, she was using Final Cut, so I had she traveled, so I had to finish the project on Final Cut. I had to relearn Final Cut, like hadn't used it in 7 years, but like that's the thing, make it work. Like of course you're not going to be as quick and you're not going to know all the shortcuts, but in concept is the same thing as Premiere or Avid. So just figure it out.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Once you kind of have an experience with one piece, you can pick up and as new ones come along too, because once you leave film school, there's new technology, but if you have the basics of one, then you can learn and pick up the others a little more easily.
Yeah, and that's what I think, that you have to keep going with time. That's what I said about, like, you can't get old, like on the concept of like not being up with the news. Because we, like, for example, now there's the chat GPT.
Yeah.
Like, that software didn't exist when I was in school. So there's always new technology, and you got to understand, like, okay, let me understand what this is, and if this can work for me, like, for example, I have an editor, a retoucher that works for me, because I don't have time to edit my own photos, but I know how to edit, because if I need to, like, like, sometimes he'll have so much workload, I gotta sit with him and edit some photos too, or else we won't deliver in time, so that's the thing. I feel like you should know the most you can around what you do. Like, if you're, for example, let's say you're a director, like, you have to know the gaffer's job, you have to know the first AC's job. Like, that's so important, how you're gonna direct a team if you don't know what they're actually doing on set.
Absolutely.
So,
it almost feels like it comes from your parents, like, business type background too, because to run a business, you have to be.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, my dad always said that, in his opinion, what makes a great businessman is being a people's person, having people's skills, understanding of how each person works and how to get the best out of them.
Yeah, definitely, and that's
certainly
true.
I try to take that. Yeah, so I try to use that with.
Oh, there we go, back.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
certainly true of the film industry as well. Yeah, always knowing all the departments, everyone who's on your team, and then I always find, like, hiring the person would do it even better than you would. Right? It's like, you want to surround yourself with those people.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Because that's the thing, like, my retoucher is way ahead of me. He's way better than me. He does 3D models. I don't know how to do 3D, like, he specializes in that. And that's the idea, but it's important to know the basics. I feel like that's the main idea.
Yeah, we have a question from the chat that I think would be interesting to hear your thoughts on. Do you have any times where things didn't really go to plan, and were you able to adapt to that situation to make the most of it and make it work?
All the time. Shoots never go according to plan. I don't think I had a single shoot that went according to plan. It's just the way it is, and you just gotta adapt. That's the way. Like, and I have this motto, like, you're the energy on set. Like, if I stress out, everyone stresses out, client freaks out, no good. Nothing's gonna get done. So I just chill and fix it. Stressing out is not gonna help you fix it. So that's the most important thing. Like, I've had equipment, because that's what happens with equipment. It bugs all the time. I had camera bugs on me and light bugs, and then you just, like, and the client is, like, just, like, talking all happy, like, the actress is going, like, oh my god, last night I just went out with this guy, and you're just, like, freaking out about the equipment inside, and you're just like, tell me more about the boy, and just try to, like, fix the equipment, like, just get your actress on. Like, that's what you have to do,
Yeah,
just make the vibe work. Yeah.
Whether it's on a photo shoot set or a film set, the moment that the person who's leading the team starts to freak out, everyone's
exactly. Like, I just had this campaign where my light guy, my director of photography, was so late, but after, it was basically like campaign that had the same 5 setups in the same spot. So all we had to do was just put a set in, take it out, and put it in again. So we didn't have to touch the lighting, just had to do it once. So I was like, in my mind, I'm not gonna rush him, make him stressed out at this moment, make him have a bad lighting, which is the most important thing, because that's gonna like define the whole day of lighting, and do that. I'm just gonna let him work, and I'm gonna tell him like, we're on time, but do your thing, make it work the best. And then when we're shooting, I'm just gonna cut back a few takes we're doing. So like, you gotta understand also where you gotta win and lose them, because if I stress him out in the beginning of the day, make him rush with lighting when he's already late and worried that he's late, because he knows he's late, he's just gonna do a very bad lighting. And that's not gonna work for me, because the lighting is gonna be the same one throughout the whole day. It's gonna define the mood of the campaign. So I'm just gonna let him work, tell him we're on time, let him work, and then cut out on another thing. Like maybe we won't do as many wide shots. Like that's the thing. You gotta adapt and see where you can cut and win a little bit, and not get attached to things. Like, don't get attached to shots, don't get attached to camera movements. Like, people get so attached to that. And it's like, don't get attached. That's why it's so good to have an editor that has not been on set, because they don't get attached.
It's true. They don't know how long that shot took you to get, or how hard it
Yeah.
was, or how late your DP was, or.
But I gotta tell you, I don't get attached. Like, I am so quick to cut photos. Like, give me like a day and I'll cut even more photos. Like, if you need me to. I'm just such a perfectionist. I'm really good at cutting.
So I think you're back. Okay, great. So we're talking about kind of open doors, and so we have a bunch of students watching. Let's talk about getting your foot in the door. For students who might be graduating soon, what should be on their resume or their portfolio or a website, for someone who's looking to have a career that's similar to yours?
All right. Resume wise, to be honest, no one asks for my resume. That, because in photography and doing videos, that it's about my portfolio. I would say that's the more I feel like it's important to have a website, definitely, because that shows you're serious. But at the same time, no one opens your website, even though it's important to have it. Yeah, no one opens it anymore. Instagram is your business card. Instagram is your website nowadays. Like, I see that on the website clicks, like like you can see on the insights, like so many more people go to my Instagram than they go to my website. Like, it's insanely like ridiculous, the amount of difference. So, so I feel like you should have it, because normally when a professional doesn't have a website, you won't take them seriously. But know that your Instagram needs to show as well what's on your website, because most people don't waste their time opening it. And a lot of the work that I got has been from relationships with people. People want to work with people they know, with people they like, they feel comfortable with. So like, for example, my job at the Philippines, the campaign I did, I was chosen because they like my work, yes, but at the same time, because the actress likes me, because we got along well. It's 10 days in the Philippines, with someone. So you got to remember that's like a package as well. So I feel like making relationships with people is very important. Meeting people, and then I've worked a lot for free. Sometimes I still do. Like, that's the thing. Like, I have this actress that I work with, and she gets me a lot of great campaigns. Every campaign, she's like, I want to deal with Giselle. So when she asks me, can you do a photo of my new hair? I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna charge her. Like, sometimes you gotta play along, that's in and also when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work as well, you know, it's part of the process. So that goes back to relationships, you know, when you're in the beginning, you know, like, oh, I want to shoot models, see model agencies, tax models on Instagrams. Do you want to work with me? I would love to shoot you. You know, like make relationships with people. I feel like that's so important. And if they like your work, they're gonna give you opportunities. You know, not everyone will, and that's the way the world works. Some people honestly won't. And but that I feel like you start filtering the more you go on with life. You start understanding like, oh, this person like gives me more feedback, so I'll do it for her. But then this person never calls me for this, so maybe not. And she's not getting me, like, for example, maybe she's getting you Instagram followers, you know, and that for you is important. So maybe that's good, you know, but if she's not tagging one photos, then why are you doing it for, you know, like, so you got to understand how it works for you. You know, you can't also let people take advantage of you. Understand when you're collaborating, you need to get something out of it. And that's not bad to say it, because some people like, yeah, want to make it seem like it's bad. It's not. Why would you be working for free, you know? Like, you either are getting good photos, or you're getting exposition, or you're getting money, you know? So I feel like it's important to understand what are you getting, and if what you're getting, is it really important to you? Like for me, I don't care about Instagram followers, honestly. That's not important to me. You know, if that's all I'm getting, if that's all I'm getting, that's not my goal. For me, I don't mind working for free. Honestly, that's my, because I love my craft when it's for a good photo. That's normally my drive for working for free. It's when it's with people that I like the exchange and they give me good photos, because I love to expand my portfolio always, you know? So that, and also I like people that, like someone said in the comments, get the credit you deserve. I do appreciate people that give credit. Yeah, that's very
For sure.
important. I think it's
And
your art.
does that go both ways? Like you had mentions about photographers like reaching out on Instagram to like meet people and collab. We have someone in the question Q&A that's asking, as an aspiring model, what advice do you have? Is that something that they can do on the other way around?
Oh,
Or
of course. Yeah, of course. But then if we're talking about models, I have other concessions to make. If you're shooting with a guy and you're a girl, or a male, because that could happen too, and you're shooting with anyone, honestly, if you don't feel comfortable, I feel like that's the most important point. If you're not comfortable, you don't need to go alone. Photographers sometimes want to make it seem like you have to. You don't. You always have the right to take someone else, and it's never worth it. If you're not comfortable, that person's not going to make your career. I don't care how famous the photographer is. He's not going to make you the next Giselle Bündchen or the next Gigi Hadid. So only put yourself in situations that you're okay with it and you're comfortable with it, because that's very important. You should, a photographer that already tells you you can't bring someone, that for me already is wrong. Like I would never let someone say no to bringing like a second party to the shoot. You know, if that's what's gonna make them feel comfortable, great. Like I always leave robes for them. Like if you're a model, you don't need to be naked in the studio. Like people should give you something and you can ask for it. Don't be afraid to ask for it. Don't be uncomfortable naked because someone hasn't given you a towel or a robe to dress. You know, so I feel like it's really important to say that to models. Voice out your opinion. You're not hangers. You're a very important part of the job. So you can't let people mistreat you, and that's not gonna not get you jobs. Don't be afraid of that. Asking for a robe is not gonna make you a bad model. Just think about the situation. If someone says, "Oh, I didn't like her because she asked me for a robe," like that's like inconceivable. So I feel like nowadays it's really important to express that to models and also express that to the filmmakers and the photographers. Make your models feel comfortable, like in every way possible. You know, like, do they want water? Do they want to hear music? What music do they want to hear? Do they want to bring someone? Like, if you're the, like, you want, the more you can do to make them comfortable from the beginning, you can. Hey, do you want to bring someone? Do you feel comfortable doing that? Like, already tell them what they're gonna do at the shoot, and if they're comfortable doing everything. Like, if we filmmakers can help make this industry better by making our models, our actresses, our actors, everyone that depends on us feel comfortable, I feel like it's so important. Like, if you're doing a nude scene, take people out of the room that don't need to be there. Like, all of that. And if you're the model and someone doesn't, ask. Like, you have the right to ask. So that's just what I wanted to express, because I feel like that's a very important point.
That is so important, not only for like the safety and the comfortability of the actors and the models, but also for achieving the overall like feeling and emotion that you want to achieve from them, because they will perform at their best if they are comfortable and feel safe and feel like you're going to like be taking care of them. So I really appreciate you saying that. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think so too. And I feel like this is the new generation. So the more we can do to change the industry, you know, and think of models as human beings is the best.
Yeah, we have a few minutes left. So let's get to a few audience questions and then we'll wrap this out. There's a really interesting one about AI generated technology. Does the future of AI generated technology ever raise concerns for you in your field?
It's funny because we were actually just discussing this week, and no, I don't. I don't think that. I feel like technology puts as tools, but I don't feel like it can ever make up for the human component of it. Like, technology can't express emotions, and also AI generated technology photos are based on photos that already exist. If you stop producing more content, it's just going to create based on the same references, and it's going to get old at some point. It's not going to have new references. So I don't think so. We need the human component to feed the database even.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how we can, as creatives, even just utilize the benefits of AI technology to help us in our craft. But yeah, I hope and think you're right on that, and especially in film too. And we're seeing that with writing screenplays and some of that stuff as well. We're seeing those things happen, but they don't quite have that human component quite yet. We'll see.
Exactly. Yeah. Like a computer can do a humor like screenplay, but it's not going to understand humor. You know, there's no science to it. It's a feeling.
And it changes so much over time.
Yeah, exactly.
Comedy. Let's end with a piece of advice that you wished someone had given you when you first started out.
That's a good thing. I think I said the two most important things, which is collaboration is important, but make sure it works for you as well. That it's not bad to want something out of it. It's your work, it's your art, you deserve credit. And be mindful to people, to your team, to your models. As a model, like I've said, make sure to say it out loud that you are comfortable with everything going on. If you're in charge of production, make sure everyone has food and water. Everyone works happier when they have food. I think that's it. You know, I think the most important thing is be kind to people and be mindful to them.
Love that. to wrap up this whole Q&A, let's do an exercise like we did at the beginning.
All
Where you
right.
blank, okay? With 2 questions.
Okay.
I'm a powerhouse woman that blank.
Ooh. I'm a powerhouse woman that came to rock the world of fashion. I don't know.
I love it. No, I love it. And one more. I empower other women by.
I empower other women by showing them how beautiful they are by just being themselves. That's my main goal with my photos,
Couldn't have asked for a
to
better way to end it.
empower them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Giselle, for your time.
Thank you. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate being here.
Thank you all to who are watching. Thank you to the LAFS. Please, if you like this event, please subscribe to the LAFS YouTube channel. Follow us on social media. Please also follow Giselle. You can follow myself as well. Check your weekly newsletter. We've come to this end of this discussion, but happy Women's History Month to everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening.